welcome to my channel. My longtime subscribers know me as the Lazy-Eyed Mauler, normally in the Woody Workshop. But today we're doing something a little different. I want to welcome those of you who came to this video because you saw Model A Ford in the title. Normally I'm known for scale model building, and that's what the Lazy-Eyed Mauler is about. But this time we're doing something, like I say, a little different. We're going to do a video about a tour that we took in this Model A Ford to the Gilmore Museum in Hickory Corners, Michigan for Model A Days. At the Gilmore Museum there's a building dedicated just to Ford Model A's from 1928 to 1931. And every year they have an event there called Model A Days, where people gather with their Model A Fords to go to seminars, to check out the cars, to check out the museum, etc. This year, the Huronia Wire Wheel region of the Model A Owners of Canada decided to make a tour to Model A Days. The people who planned the tour went out in March or whatever, did a run finding back roads and restaurants and stuff for us to use, and so we were ready for September. Those of you who've watched the channel for quite a while may know that this Model A has been off the road for a long time. I want to thank those who helped me get it back on the road, because they made a dream come true to take this car on this tour. First off, I want to thank, and I'm going to be using just last initials for privacy purposes, I want to thank John P. He came and helped with the brakes, specifically taking off the old brake tracks and putting new brake tracks on. That was a lot of hard work, and I ended up being more of an assistant. He ended up doing the work because he had a better clue of what he was doing. And I want to thank him for the 2 days he spent here working on that project. After that, I want to thank John T. and John A. And yes, we have a lot of Johns in our chapter. I want to thank them for coming to get the brakes put on the car, adjusted, and to get the car started. Now, this car had been off the road for over 10 years. We tried a revival 2 or 3 years ago. With COVID, everything's a little hazy. Got it up and running, but the brakes were not good. And so ended up going back in the garage for a while, and then you couldn't do too much or get help in during COVID. So I had to wait a while. But I do want to thank those guys for coming in and getting us back up and running again and on the road. I also want to thank the suppliers who supplied parts for me. I want to thank Twist Model T and Model A parts out of Milton, Ontario. They got parts to me very quickly when I decided to change the brake tracks, and I really appreciate that. I also want to thank the Franklins of Dixie Upholstery and Model A Parts in Kitchener, Ontario for supplying some other parts I needed. Both those groups got me back on the road thanks to their quick service. I also want to thank those who planned this tour, and that would be Debbie C. and Sue S. They did a fantastic job of going out and coming up with a route and all the arrangements for hotels and restaurants, etc. A lot of hard work, and it was much appreciated. And I want to thank those who have contributed to this video. I'm thanking myself, I guess, in part because I did take some pictures and some video, but a lot of it comes from my wife, Pat, who took video while we were traveling, while we were at gas stops, and pictures and whatnot. Many thanks, my love. I certainly appreciate that. I also want to thank Pat T., a member of the Huronia Wire Wheel region, who took a lot of video and pictures as well that will contribute to this presentation. I wouldn't be able to have a really good video without all three adding stuff to this video. In the end, it has had 942 miles put on this tour. So you can't say you can't tour in Model A's, because you certainly can. You have to stay off the major highways, obviously, and sometimes you're a nuisance to people, especially these days. 30 years ago, when I first got this car, most people were fine if they were slowed up a bit. Well, we all know what it's like out there now. But for the most part, most people are friendly and gave us thumbs up and whatnot, and there was only a couple of middle fingers in 942 miles. Anyway, sit back and relax. I hope you enjoy this video about our tour, and maybe you can get a Model A and take yours on the tour. And if you want to know more about Model A's, please check out Paul Shinn, Paulshinn. He's got a ton of videos on Model A's and their maintenance and whatnot. Simple videos, not complex or anything. There's also Tebow Barnes. He has it one way on Instagram, one way on Facebook, the other way on YouTube. Anyway, Tebo and Barn. He does a lot of touring with his Model A's. He has a shop now where he fixes Model A's and has some great information. There are others out there too. If you type in Model A Ford or Model A, you'll come up with tons of videos. Anyway, sit back, relax, and enjoy this video, and we'll talk to you again. Bye now. This is our starting mileage. I was too excited ahead of time to do a proper introduction before we left for our trip. This is the hotel parking lot in Orangeville, Ontario. We had driven down the day before the official trip started because we wanted to save 2.5 hours from the longer trip. Although it is hard to see, this is the official starting mileage of the official trip. It says 317 at this point. Hi guys, it's the Lazy-Eyed Modeler here, not in the Woody Workshop, beside a highway. We're on a Model A tour. The Model A Owners of Canada, the Huronia Wire Wheel Chapter, is taking a trip to Gilmore Museum for Model A days. This is quite a drive for all of us, and we're at our first stop of the day in just a picnic area, and we'll soon be hitting the road again. We'll turn you around and show you the cars that are here. Okay, here are some of the cars. There's 7 cars with us at the moment. There's going to be 9 altogether. And there's our car right there. And there's the other 7. And again, I apologize for wind noise and highway noise and whatnot, but we'll try to get you some video footage of us being on the road, and see if we can share that with you as we go. Okay, talk to you later. These 2 shots are the guys standing around watching our tour leader as she tops up her tires. When our chapter tours, we have written instructions, but we also have what we call corner cars. So when the lead car turns a major corner that we could miss, the car behind them stops at the corner so those following can see the corner where you're supposed to turn. Unfortunately, if you're videoing and not paying close enough attention to the directions and whatnot, you can miss the corner car, which you can see circled here is our car, and John, driving the car that you're currently in here, missed us totally, and so did his navigator because she was busy doing a video. They had to turn around and come back and find us. To be fair, we missed them as a corner car earlier in the day, and we had to turn around and go find them. Hi guys, we're about 3/4 of the way through our day for the day. We're about to go through the border, and we'll soon be shutting off the cell phone because we get really dinged for roaming. So just thought you might find this interesting that the old cars are starting to go through the from the Canadian side to the US side. See you later. This is our mileage after we arrived at the St. Clair Inn after our first day of travel. That's a barge. Good morning, guys and gals. It's day 2 of the official tour to the Gilmore Museum with the Malay Club. They're setting up a photo shoot across the street at the inn where we stayed at St. Clair Inn, and we'll just show you a little bit of that in a second here. Okay, so we're shooting into the sun. I'm sorry about that, but that's the way this is working. You can see the cars are lining up in front of the inn. They're going to try to get a photo shoot of all the cars that are on the tour, which I think we're up to 8 or 9 now on our part of the tour anyway. You'll see a lot more of them when we get to the Gilmore Museum on Friday. This is the mileage when we reached the Holiday Inn in Hastings, Michigan, after 2 days of travel with a group. Hi guys, this is day 4 for us of the Model A tour to the Gilmore Museum. It's almost 9 o'clock in the morning. We're about to head out for the Gilmore. So far we've put 424 miles on our car, which is really amazing considering how long it's been sitting. Generally so far there's been no issues with any of the cars, except somebody lost a starter yesterday. They just repaired it about half an hour ago, so they're good to go. And we're really looking forward to the Gilmore to see what we see there, see what's in the flea market, and see all the displays and everything else. So we'll definitely show you some of that, and we'll show you all the Model A's gathered there. And hope you enjoy it. We'll talk to you later. Okay, everybody, we just arrived at Gilmore Museum, and it's already filling up pretty good with Model A's. We'll try to show you as much going on here as we can.
Just the Huronia Wire. I think it's right there in first, like maybe 10. It says Huronia Wire Wheel. Just took it a minute.
The Model A Ford Foundation, which is responsible for fundraising to build the Model A Ford Museum building at the Gilmore Museum, has a Buy a Brick campaign which helps raise funds for the museum. These bricks are for members of the Huronia Wire Wheel region of the Model A Owners of Canada. Ford Model A Museum building, there is an interactive simulator to show you how to start a Model A. Here are some of the ladies from our group checking it out. I don't know why every time I go to film, this is a car that had sat for 50 years or so. During the course of the day on Friday, they had a demonstration where they took volunteers from the audience and they worked to get it going. Unfortunately, we were stuck in the sun and we didn't stick around to see the start, but about after 42 minutes or so, they had this car up and running. Well, folks, this video is over half an hour already, so we'll make a second video to show more from the Gilmore Museum and Model A days in our tour home. Thanks for watching and keep an eye out for more.